My father's funeral was almost over when a stranger approached me and said, "I'm your brother." I laughed. "That's impossible." He pulled out a photograph, my father holding him as a baby. My mother turned pale. "Where did you get that?" He smiled sadly. "From my mother. The one he never told you about." I never expected my father's funeral to be the setting for a revelation that would shake the very foundation of my family. As the service concluded, a man approached me, his eyes mirroring a familiarity I couldn't place. He extended a photograph, my father cradling a baby. My mother turned pale, whispering, "Where did you get that?" The man replied, "From my mother. The one he never told you about." The ensuing weeks unraveled secrets buried deep within our family's history. Through conversations, old letters, and hidden photographs, I pieced together the life of a half-brother I never knew existed. The betrayal my mother felt was palpable, yet amidst the pain, a new bond began to form between us siblings. This story is a testament to the complexities of family, the pain of hidden truths, and the unexpected paths to forgiveness and connection. I stared at the photo again, my hands trembling slightly. It was old, curled at the corners, the color faded into that familiar washed-out 1980s brown-yellow tint. But there was no mistaking it. My father's arms, his crooked smile, the military dog tags on his chest. And in his arms? A baby. A different baby. Not me. The man standing before me didn't blink. "My name's Raymond," he said quietly. He was my father, too. I couldn't speak. Not yet. My mother, always so composed, even after my father's heart attack, even when the doctor told us he wouldn't make it, now looked like someone had smacked the air out of her. She staggered back a step. Her voice was low. "That's not possible." Raymond didn't argue. He just nodded toward the photo. "He met my mom in Alabama," he said, "while he was stationed there in '83. They were together for 2 years. I was born in '85. I did the math. I was born in '87, which meant my father cheated on my mother before I was even born." My stomach turned. My Uncle David, my father's older brother, had been standing nearby. He came over, slow and heavy-footed like he was walking through water. "Jesus Christ, Jim," he muttered, looking at the photo. "So it's true." I whipped my head toward him. "You knew." He didn't meet my eyes. "I heard rumors. He got real distant for a while back then. Took off for a couple months. Your mom never knew the whole story." My mother was shaking now. I saw it clearly, her fingers, clutching her handbag like it was keeping her upright. Raymond spoke again. "I didn't come here for trouble. I just needed to know if there was any part of his life he shared with me. I never got to meet him. I couldn't take it." I turned and walked fast out of the funeral home. 3 nights later, I was sitting in my father's old recliner in the den, flipping through the boxes we'd brought home from his office. Papers, photographs, a few of his military medals, and an old notebook. The notebook changed everything. Inside were pages of letters. Unsent. Addressed to R. Sometimes Ray. Sometimes my son. They went back decades. One entry from 1995 read, "I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. I told Marie I'd stop. She can't know about you. But I think about you every day. I watch from a distance. You're growing so fast, and I'm a coward for not showing my face. Marie." My mother. There were even more. Letters filled with regret, longing, guilt. I felt sick. But also, for a brief moment, I felt something else, pity. My father had lived his entire life trying to play 2 parts, and failed at both. Raymond called me the next week. I didn't want to answer, but I did. "I found something," he said. "Something weird." He sent me a photo of a deed. A property in rural Georgia. A 2-story house, listed under a shell company. The signature on the bottom? My father's name. I drove down that weekend. The house was empty, but still under a property manager's care. Raymond had gotten access through a lawyer, one who'd worked with my dad years ago. Said it was an inheritance issue. Inside the house were photographs of Raymond. As a kid, a teenager. Photos of him playing baseball, blowing out candles, graduating high school. In one picture, my dad was there, older, maybe in his 40s, standing beside a young Raymond. Hand on his shoulder. So he had been around. Sometimes. But never once had he told us. My whole life, I thought I was his only son. The one he raised, taught to ride a bike, gave awkward high fives to when I made the basketball team. Meanwhile, he was visiting this house. Being part of another life. Raymond looked at me. "He told me you existed," he said. "He even showed me a photo once. Said he was proud of you." I couldn't speak. At the reading of the will, things took another turn. The lawyer, a thin man with coffee breath and a slight stutter, handed me a sealed envelope. Inside was a separate letter, addressed to me this time. I'm sorry, son. I did what I thought was best, and maybe that was wrong. But I want you to know, I loved you both. There was more. Legal instructions. Half of my father's estate, left to Raymond. I couldn't believe it. I was furious. You didn't know him. I snapped later that day when we met again. He didn't change your diapers. He didn't stay up all night with you when you had the flu. Raymond stayed quiet. Then he said something I'll never forget. He may not have raised me, but I spent my whole life wondering why I wasn't good enough for him to stay. That shut me up. Because, deep down, I knew he wasn't trying to take anything from me. He just wanted to be acknowledged. But damn, it hurt. A week after the will was read, I started cleaning out Dad's storage unit in East Memphis. It was a climate-controlled space we rarely visited, mostly filled with tools, old furniture, and boxes he never let anyone touch. That's when I found the metal cabinet. It was locked. I called a locksmith and paid cash to keep it quiet. When the door finally clicked open, a stale smell hit me first. Then came the contents. Photos. Letters. But not of me. Not of Raymond either. A woman. Dozens of her. Posing in front of what looked like a bookstore. Sitting on a park bench. Holding a toddler. The same toddler, over and over again. Different outfits. Growing bigger through the years. At the bottom of the pile, I found a utility bill from 1999. Cincinnati, Ohio. The woman's name? Ruth Wallace. And the kid? Jason Wallace. My chest went cold. Another child? Another family? I called Raymond immediately. Check your mother's name, I said. It's Sarah. Why? Because I think we've got another brother. We tracked her down through Facebook. She hadn't posted much in years. Her profile was set to private, but one photo stood out. A recent one from a high school graduation, with Jason in a cap and gown. Same eyes as me. Same thick eyebrows. I drove to Cincinnati by myself. I needed to do this alone. She opened the door like she knew I was coming. Her face dropped. You're his other son, she whispered. We sat on her porch for 2 hours. She told me everything. They met at a book fair. She was a poet. He was in town for a conference. It started as a fling. Then it got serious. He visited monthly. He told her he was divorced. Said he had no other kids. He left just before Jason's 7th birthday and never came back. Just stopped showing up. No warning. No note. He was a liar, she said bitterly, gripping her coffee mug. But for a while, he was ours. She didn't want money. She didn't want an apology. She wanted the truth to matter to someone. I needed answers. More than just stories. So I did the one thing that would settle it. I asked Raymond and Jason to take a DNA test with me. 3 weeks later, the results came back. Half-brothers. All 3 of us. Same father. No doubt. No escape. Raymond took it better than I did. Jason didn't even blink. He said he already knew. Said he had a feeling when he saw me walk up Ruth's driveway. We all had the same walk, he said. That slow, shoulders back, head down shuffle. Like we were always bracing for something bad. It got even stranger. My cousin Eli, who worked in banking, gave me a call late one night. I don't know if I should be telling you this, he said, but your dad had an offshore account. Cayman Islands. Quiet. No paper trail through his estate. My jaw dropped. How much? Over $800,000. What? No one knew. It wasn't in the will, but it was active until last year. He was making monthly transfers, always to the same routing number. He paused. Want to guess whose name was on it? Don't tell me Ruth? Nope. Someone named Pamela Trent. Ever heard of her? I hadn't, but I was damn sure going to find out. Pamela Trent lived in a quiet neighborhood outside Little Rock, Arkansas. A florist. In her 50s. Widowed. At least, that's what the neighborhood knew. But when I showed her a photo of my father, her lips trembled. You're his son, she said. I knew this day would come. He'd been sending her money every month since 2007. Called it a support fund. They weren't married, but they were together. Long enough for her to believe it was more than just an affair. She didn't know about me, or Raymond, or Jason. She just knew that one day he stopped coming by, like he did with the rest. She had no kids, just a scrapbook, full of dried petals, notes, and one more photo of my father, holding a newborn. I felt dizzy. He told me she died at birth, Pamela said quietly. Said it broke him. She showed me the baby's birth certificate. There was no death record. The name? Eliza Trent. Born 2008. The search for Eliza led me to a private school in Little Rock. I showed up during pickup time, heart pounding in my ears. I didn't know what I'd say if I saw her. Then I saw her. She was 12. Long brown hair. Big, curious eyes. She looked like us. Like Dad. She got into Pamela's car, and they drove off. I couldn't approach. Not yet. Later, I sat in my car for hours, gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. My father wasn't just a liar. He was a collector. Of families. Of hearts. Then he abandoned each one like yesterday's trash. And me? I helped him keep the lie by not digging sooner. That night, I confronted my mother. She didn't cry this time. Instead, she stared into her tea and said, "I knew." I froze. "You knew?" "I didn't know about all of them," she said. "But I knew about one. Raymond. Your father swore it ended. I chose to believe him. I chose comfort over truth." Her voice was flat. "Dead. I'm sorry. I couldn't say anything." My whole life was built on people choosing lies over truth. And I was no different. I kept the truth from Pamela. From Eliza. From my own wife, who kept asking me why I was so cold lately. I became the thing I hated. I went back to Dad's storage unit one last time. This time, I wasn't looking for photos or secrets. I brought lighter fluid and a matchbook. But before I lit the fire, I wrote one final letter. To all of them. Raymond, Jason, Ruth, Pamela, Eliza, my mom, even myself. I laid it on top of the pile. He lied to us all. But I kept the lie alive too. I made excuses. I let silence rot our lives. I don't want his money. I don't want revenge through lawyers. I want to end this with fire. Not to destroy our memories, but to burn away his control. We are free now. Choose who you want to be. Just don't be him. I lit the match. The fire took fast. I watched every photo, letter, and fake memory turn to ash. 6 months later, I organized a meeting. In a park in Nashville. I invited them all. Raymond came. Jason too. Even Ruth and Pamela. My mother stayed home. Said she was tired of ghosts. Then she arrived. Eliza. She stood beside Pamela, awkward and shy. I walked over and knelt to her level. "I'm your brother," I said gently. "I know," she whispered. "Mama told me." "Do you want to know about him?" She looked at me hard. "Do I need to?" That hit me in the chest. "No," I said. "You don't." She smiled. "Then I'm okay." I didn't need to scream. I didn't need to break something. My vengeance was quiet. I gave up the inheritance. Donated it anonymously to a shelter for abandoned kids. I sent letters to each of my father's old friends and military buddies, letters filled with the truth. I made sure his shiny legacy was dirted with what he truly was, a coward with charm. And I wrote his name in black ink on a blank tombstone in my mind and buried it deep. My father wanted to be everything to everyone. He ended up being nothing to most. In trying to keep us all, he lost all of us. And me? I was angry, broken, vengeful, but I was also free. I don't carry his lies anymore. I carry my own truth. And I'll make damn sure no one forgets what happens when secrets are buried long enough. They claw their way out, no matter how deep.